Our next guest, Matt Anderson, grew up on a farm without internet access. So, of course, that's the perfect upbringing for an entrepreneur whose new company, Zazzu, is poised to revolutionize cyberspace. Big statement. Matt's going to tell us how this humble upbringing developed a fascination with the internet and led him to start his first company at 15 years old, essentially in his pajamas in his bedroom, and how it led Matt to found Zazzu. He's also going to share with us what's wrong with the internet today and what it's going to look like in the future. That is a big statement that you're going to revolutionize the internet. What do you mean by that?
Well, the current internet funnels everything upwards. And by 2020, I don't think the internet will look exactly like it does today. I mean, consumers might have a few smart products in their homes, but when we get to the time when we have 100 smart products, it's not going to be likely that we have 100 different apps to control all of them. And the data flowing upstream for IoT products, Internet of Things products, is a constant stream of data. It's not static data like a Facebook post that you can store on a hard drive. So I really think that within the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to have to revolutionize the way that we process data. And I think that what we're going to do with Zazzu is we're going to be able to process that data close to where the data is actually created, closer to the end user within the last mile of the internet. And I think what that'll do is it'll alleviate a lot of the upstream networks. Instead of bringing an entire mountain of data all the way upstream to sift through it for the gold, I think that we're only going to send the gold upstream is what Zazzu is aiming to do.
Okay, so now you've got me confused with a few things that you've said, but let's start with the Internet of Things.
Right.
Okay, this is a buzzword that's been around for a while. What does that mean?
So the Internet of Things, or the Internet of Everything, is yet another marketing term, just like the cloud. The cloud isn't really a cloud; it's just a bunch of interconnected networks, the internet. Now, the Internet of Things is, at the moment, it is a buzzword, but it's already here. We're already in the Internet of Things. But the products themselves aren't very smart yet. They will be smart when they start communicating with each other. And the problem that we're seeing right now with the internet is that they all have their own signals up to central servers. Now, it's the same principle, is that if we're sitting right next to each other and I were to send you an email,
right?
Guess what? The email goes
all over.
It goes thousands of miles away and then comes all the way back to you, even though we're sitting 2 feet away from each other. Now, that is not an intelligent topology for the internet. There needs to be some sort of decentralization for the servers and the data centers so that we can process that closer to where you and I are, which will offload the upstream networks. And if we do that, if we bring it closer to the end user, then we can put it onto a common platform so that all of our smart products that are in our home or around us are all operating on a common platform.
So theoretically, they'd all be connected to each other, but they're not going out into the internet, which also deals with a lot of the concerns about the security of our data, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So I take it that's what Zazzu is all about. So tell us about how you started the company.
So it started out of a small research lab in southern Alberta, and we began with just researching internet topology. That was our main interest.
Internet
topology. So the way that it's structured, how does it look like? And right now, it's basically, you have all of the end users, the internet users like me and you, and all of our data flows up. So if you use cloud storage, what you're doing is you're essentially just, instead of storing that file on your computer, you're just storing it on a massive data center right next to everybody else's files. And the only convenience of that is that you can access it from anywhere just by logging into your account.
Right, which is a big convenience.
It's a big convenience. So what Zazzu is doing is we're putting smart hardware in your home, smart hardware that we've invented out of our lab, that gives you all of the benefits of the cloud with more privacy and security than a private VPN server. It's essentially giving every user a tiny piece of the internet so that all of the data that you create doesn't have to flow upstream.
So that sounds like, it almost sounds like you're going completely counterintuitive to all the talk about the cloud, which now I get what you mean by saying you're going to revolutionize the internet.
It's almost turning everything on its head. And if we do it properly, not only will you not need to use your cloud service, eventually you may not need to use your ISP. Now, the reason, going back to why is it so insecure, well, everybody's racing to get venture capital, or racing to get funding, or racing to design the next new cool IoT product. And what they're completely overlooking is the security of it. They're putting microprocessors in them that don't have enough power to generate cryptographic keys necessary for encryption, which means that if you're in a coffee shop watching your baby monitor from your home, somebody can sniff into that signal, which means they can intercept that
quite
signal
easily, right?
Quite easily, especially on open Wi-Fi, and essentially watch your baby sleep. And that is, I think, what's starting to terrify people.
So the company's called Zazzu. What's the next step for Zazzu?
So we're currently raising funding. We are, well on our way. We're testing it. We're seeing how people like it, and what will it do for the consumer. The reason that I like Zazzu so much, it's very, very simple. Plug it into your home and your home network, and it has a value for everybody. It has a value for Netflix, YouTube, the ones that are trying to get the content closer to the user. It has a value proposition for data brokers, all of the companies that are trying to process the data, these central data centers. And it has a value for the user and the ISP. It lets the ISP transcend network borders. And it lets the user have that privacy and security that they're paying for with their internet service. It gives them all the benefits of the cloud with more privacy and security than a private VPN server.
Well, what's super cool about this, I just met a guy in LA who exited his first company at age 15, and he's invested in 40 companies since 2010. And he said to me, this year, I'm only doing hardware deals. So you're going to get an introduction.
Oh, there
to
we
an
go. That would be
investor.
perfect.
Matt from Zazzu, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for
Sounds
having me.
fantastic. Can't wait to follow along this story. Thank
Perfect.
you for being here.
Thank you.
You think you know The Brick? Sure, everyone knows The Brick is the place for the guaranteed lowest prices on home furnishings. But do you know how we do it? Buying power, that's how. The Brick has over 200 locations across Canada, with over 7 million square feet of showrooms. That means we buy a lot of stuff from all over the world. And the more we buy, the more you save. The Brick. Saving you more. It's not just a slogan. Saving you more is our obsession.
Wonder lives in you. It's the moments that capture you and make you feel alive, leaving you breathless, wanting more. Feed your imagination, because some things are worth dreaming about, and some things are worth living. Rediscover your one.
Shoveling snow in January and February is hard work. That's why there's Eden. Eden, the leader in on-demand cold weather snow removal and warm weather lawn care, makes it easy to request a professional and fully insured contractor to remove your snow right from your smartphone. Eden is designed for busy professionals, people with aging parents or physical limitations, snowbirds, and of course, people who just hate shoveling. Download the Eden app in the iTunes or Google Play Store today and enjoy 15% off your first job by using the promo code EdenTV.
Every time I come in, Chris always follows up with me, always asks me how my service was, if there's anything that they could have done better. He makes me feel really important.
You're not going to get treated better. The work done was awesome, but I thought that the personal touch and the service, Chris was always top-notch.
We've met new employees, and if I go back the next time, they know who we are. Whenever I take our cars in, I feel like I'm someone special. They treat me extremely well.
Aly Dhalla is an experienced entrepreneur and is in the midst of launching his third company, Finaeo, a digital assistant for financial professionals. He's going to share with us today how Finaeo aims to not only help financial professionals, but everyone involved in that world, especially the customer. And he's also going to tell us his top 3 tips to launch a successful startup. This is your third,
It is.
but you've been involved in all kinds of startups and are very involved in that whole, I don't even know whether it's a current word anymore, ecosystem.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So both in Toronto and Vancouver. Tell us a little bit about your story.
For sure. So I started big bank, a traditional banker, working my way up, kind of paying my way through school, and financial collapse had happened, and there was obviously a couple of opportunities to move up in the ranks. And so I kind of fell in love with the world of helping people through their finances. Way that I looked at it, it was another way to be a doctor. You're just helping people with their financial health instead of their real health.
And performing some interesting surgeries.
Totally. And at the time, you didn't have surgical tools. You had, Band-Aids and duct tape and shoe leather because the market was collapsing everywhere. But what we had was a great process on kind of how to deal with people. And so as I moved through that career, I had a great opportunity to work at the corporate level and then moved on to the startup world. And so it was this entire new wave. First company was really built around a platform for employee benefits, helping younger people, millennials, make better decisions, leveraging technology in that process. Got acquired by a larger player in the insurance space, an intermediary that allowed us to aggregate products from different suppliers and then distribute through a technology platform.
So were you one of the founders of that first company?
I was the first employee at that first company.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you've started a new company that's serving that industry. Finaeo, what is it?
Finaeo. So Finaeo is a platform for the insurance professional and financial planners at large. The goal is to help them create better relationships with their clients, leveraging a platform. We think that there's a lot to be desired in terms of how transactions are handled, the transparency within those transactions, and more importantly, the service that's provided from those advisors to that end user.
Give me an example of what you're talking about. And this came out of your own experience of being a financial advisor?
Absolutely. Yeah. So very simple is the application process for any financial product that you purchase. Typically, as a consumer, you give your information away. That information is put into a black box, and a couple weeks later, you come back with a quote or a different product that you purchased. But in that process, you feel very disconnected from it. And so for us, it was about how do we give the financial professional a tool that allows them to bring that client into that ecosystem and be very transparent around the process around it.
Well, how does it work? What is it?
Sure. So we start with a platform that has a digital assistant at the core. So the biggest problem we wanted to solve for these professionals is the metric of how do I create more efficiencies in my day so I can serve my clients better. So taking the example of after a meeting with a client, you have a ton of handwritten notes. Well, a simple way is leveraging audio dictation, natural language processing, and task automation to turn those notes into actionable items for you.
So with Finaeo, what stage are you at? Like from your kind of your pre-revenue?
Pre-revenue.
So tell us a little bit about that story of putting this company together.
Absolutely, yeah. So the story started with our own observation, myself and two co-founders, of what are the biggest challenges that financial professionals, broad sweeping, are facing today. The biggest was the change in consumer need. So come to me instead of me coming to you. Meet me at Starbucks instead of me coming to your office. And so that first instinct was, well, we need an app. We need something mobile as a tool that you can take with you. So 135 advisors that we started by interviewing, understanding their needs, their wants. We then built our first kind of minimum viable product in 3.5 weeks. We launched a 50-person beta, which ran for 6 weeks after that. And we took a ton of qualitative and quantitative data from there, a lot of feedback, a lot of testing, a lot of wireframing. From there, we raised a little bit of capital. The first $250,000 was actually from our clients. So that was a good indication that there was a product market need. We didn't have fit, but there was a need that we identified.
When you say from your clients, so in other words, the people that would actually be using the app are investing in the company.
Absolutely.
That's a great way to go.
Yeah, and so what we did is we went to these clients and said, hey, at the end of the day, we're an early stage company. We need to hire engineers to solve the problem. You can be part of the journey with us, or you can be a customer at the end of the day. And a lot of them said, well, this is cutting edge. We know this is going to revolutionize the industry, and we want to be a part of that.
So Aly, you, corporate world, into an entrepreneurship mode, your third company, very obviously passionate and dynamic about this whole space. Give us your 3 tips to launching a successful startup.
Okay, 3 tips. So be bold, be fast, and build the best team in the world.
Let's just get into that a bit. Bold, be fast. Now, bold, I get it. It's like that's what being an entrepreneur is. You've got to be that guy that doesn't know it can't be done. Okay,
Exactly.
That's number 1. I get the bold part.
Yep.
What about fast?
Totally.
Is this sort of shoot, ready, aim?
In a sense, but I think what it is calculated testing. And it's about around having a process. And the one thing that startups or smaller companies have at their advantage is nimbleness. You can outmaneuver a larger business because you can test multiple different things at lightning speed. So I'll give you a great example, a marketing message, a social media message. Instead of having to go through a board to make a decision, to get an approval, to go to legal, you can just 3 different tests all on the same day, iterate that message on the second. And so it's really about moving at hyperspeed.
So in this day and age of technology advancing at this hockey stick rate, and it's now exponential and exponential, and it's the numbers are starting to get wild. The world's knowledge.
Yeah.
It is the startup companies, the nimble companies that are gonna change the world.
I believe so. I think we're the best positioned, especially if you take a look at where a lot of mature businesses are from a technology perspective. Taking the lens of the insurance market, you have a very antiquated supply chain, which is 85% paper-based. And it's very small tweaks and efficiencies that create beautiful automation within those existing companies. So for us, it's about where can you break in where there is an existing mature practice and leverage technology to automate as much as you can.
Okay, that third thing. Okay, so we said bold,
Yes.
be quick, and then
Hire
the
best
team. The
Yes.
team. And it's not just hiring. It's like who you bring on as advisors, who you
Yes.
partner with.
Yes.
It's all about the people.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about the term the Finaeo family. And so the Finaeo family for us is absolutely our employees. It's our angel investors. It's our clients. It's our strategic partners. So it's everybody who's banding together about this vision of the future. And they're all putting their hands around each other and saying, together we can make it. I have literally my angel investors on speed dial. And I'm calling them, I'm not kidding, once every 2 days in some cases to get that guidance and support. And that's all about creating the best team in the world.
Aly, tons of energy. I can only imagine what you'd have done on the basketball court, but we're so glad that you had some knee issues so that you could help the entrepreneurial world. Thank you so much for coming on Biz
Thank you for having
One-on-One.
me. Pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
You think you know the Brick? Sure, everyone knows the Brick is the place for the guaranteed lowest prices on home furnishings. But do you know how we do it? Buying power, that's how. The Brick has over 200 locations across Canada, with over 7 million square feet of showrooms. That means we buy a lot of stuff from all over the world. And the more we buy, the more you save. The Brick. Saving you more. That's not just a slogan. Saving you more is our obsession.
Wonder lives in you. It's the moments that capture you and make you feel alive, leaving you breathless, wanting more. Feed your imagination, because some things are worth dreaming about, and some things are worth living. Rediscover your wonder.
Shoveling snow in January and February is hard work. That's why there's Eden. Eden, the leader in on-demand cold weather snow removal and warm weather lawn care, makes it easy to request a professional and fully insured contractor to remove your snow right from your smartphone. Eden is designed for busy professionals, people with aging parents or physical limitations, snowbirds, and of course, people who just hate shoveling. Download the Eden app in the iTunes or Google Play Store today and enjoy 15% off your first job by using the promo code EdenTV.
Peter, who's outside?
That guy? I stole him the chainsaw this morning.
Kids these days, what are we going to do with them? Our next guest on Biz One-on-One has built a business that is essentially a trade show for teenagers. Aly Berman of Teenfest is here, and she's going to share with us the 3 things that teens want to know but are afraid to ask. Aly, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So glad to have you here. Trade shows for teenagers?
Yeah, it seems to be a novel concept. So the purpose behind it is to bring all the different resources, businesses, community initiatives, courses, schools, activities, everything for the 12 to 18-year-old and their families all under one roof.
So that's your business.
Yes.
And like all fabulous businesses, there's actually a very fascinating story behind your business. So I want to hear about the story. Why are you doing this?
I am doing this because I moved to Victoria from Toronto 5 years ago, and my two older kids were turning to YouTube for absolutely everything. Everything from hairdos to nail art to gaming to science experiments. And I thought, well, where are the mentors? Where's the community? And so I did some research, and lo and behold, there was absolutely nothing for the youth out there. There was no place for the preteens and the teens to learn hands-on. So I decided to start a trade show for teens.
You're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And you saw a need in the marketplace.
I did.
What is that need?
The need is for the youth to connect. We divide it into different sections: life and education, health and wellness, fashion and beauty, technology and gaming, and cool stuff. So the whole premise is to bring as many resources, whether it's mental health, drug and alcohol abuse, sexual health, bring as many activities, whether it's rowing, lacrosse, field hockey, swimming, it doesn't matter what it is. But we want these youth to find things that resonate with them. We want them to find something or someone who can actually help them along their career path. There may be a future entrepreneur out there and they have no idea how to get started. They have no idea how to bring their idea to fruition and to the marketplace. Well, why not put them in touch with amazing business people? And there may be a youth out there who can sing. Well, why not put them in touch with somebody in the music industry? There may be somebody who's suffering with some mental health issues. Well, why not put them in touch with the proper resources? So that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to show the parents and the teens that there are people out there who care.
What's the business model around a trade show? Like, you've turned this into a business.
I have.
Yeah. So the eventual result is it looks like a trade show, and only difference is it's a bunch of teens. Are the teens manning the booths as well, or is it just that you're trying to attract teens to the trade show?
Some teens do man the booths, but we're trying to attract the teens to the trade show, and we basically rely on sponsors and exhibitors.
Teenfest, you're selling this to sponsors. So what is the appeal to the sponsors?
Well, that's a great question. I'll tell you something. Teens these days are tuning out to traditional marketing and traditional media. So in the past, where national sponsors would buy lots of radio ads and TV commercials, the kids are PVRing everything and fast-forwarding the commercials. When they're in the car and listening to the radio station, they're tuning into a different station when a commercial comes on. Teenfest gives them the opportunity to sample right then and there in the building in front of thousands of teenagers. It gives them the opportunity to have exposure in these communities to sell their products, sell their devices, see what the teens want, and it's just a great opportunity for them to actually be in the forefront of their future consumers.
So what's the target? It's teens.
12 to 18.
12 to 18. So do you have to show ID that you're 12 or that you're not 19? Or sort of give me the overview of who's coming.
Typically, we get the 10 to 16, 17-year-old. We get a lot of parents who are curious. We get a lot of caregivers and youth workers. And it's an environment for everyone. We call it Teenfest, but really it's a family-friendly event. So
what's the vision for Teenfest and for you as the founder and driving force behind it? Where is it going?
I would love this to be in every single city and every single town across North America, even international. I had a conversation with someone in China just a couple of days ago who would love to bring something like Teenfest there for the youth, because no matter where you go, the teens are all the same. They all need to find out what's in their backyard. They all need to find out what resonates with them, and it doesn't matter where you are. So the goal is to take this worldwide.
And practically speaking, then, a Teenfest event is what, a one day? Is it a weekend? I guess it could be flexible. And is the idea that there'd be one a year in each city, or how's it shaping up that way?
Yeah, typically it's one a year, and we do Saturday events from 11 until 4:30. My very first event, I opened the doors at 9:30 like every other trade show, and lo and behold, it was all the parents and caregivers and educators, and about 11:15, all the teens started rolling in. So I realized that they sleep in on Saturday mornings. So it's Saturdays from 11 to 4:30.
Awesome. Now, we promised to tell our viewers what are the 3 things that kids want to know but are afraid to ask about.
That's a very interesting question. It just so happens I just had a van full of teenage girls, and the most prevalent question was, what really happens to us after high school? And they want to know how much things actually really cost. They want to know if they'll ever be able to find a job that they truly love, because they hear their parents complain about working all the time and how hard things are. And I truly think that as adults, some of us fear getting older. And I think the teens these days truly fear what's behind door number one when they leave high school?
Right.
Where do I go? What do I do? How much is it going to cost? And they have all these fears and insecurities, and they don't know who to ask and where to go.
So that's number one. What about number 2 and 3?
I think I put 2 and 3 all into number 1. I think I rolled them all together. I think basically the teens out there these days have a lot of questions about their future.
So what is the one piece of advice that you would give? Like you've got a successful business rolling out here across the country, and you've had businesses before.
Yes.
What's your advice to a teenage girl like you who maybe thinks they would like to, like, you must have had a yearning as a teen yourself about doing your own thing. What's your advice?
Just do it. Make mistakes. The only way you become successful is to learn from your mistakes and just try. You know, I tell my kids all the time, every path leads to a new path, and don't be scared to take that path that's been untraveled.
Well, you are obviously fearlessly moving forward to create
Thank
something that I'm sure many, many parents are very grateful that you're stepping up to do this. And we hope you become super successful, and we hope to have you back on Biz One-on-One to tell us about all the international expansion.
I would
Aly
love
Berman,
that.
thank you so much for being on the show.
You think you know the Brick? Sure, everyone knows the Brick is the place for the guaranteed lowest prices on home furnishings. But do you know how we do it? Buying power, that's how. The Brick has over 200 locations across Canada, with over 7 million square feet of showrooms. That means we buy a lot of stuff from all over the world. And the more we buy, the more you save. The Brick. Saving you more. It's not just a slogan. Saving you more is our obsession.
Shoveling snow in January and February is hard work. That's why there's Eden. Eden, the leader in on-demand cold weather snow removal and warm weather lawn care, makes it easy to request a professional and fully insured contractor to remove your snow right from your smartphone. Eden is designed for busy professionals, people with aging parents or physical limitations, snowbirds, and of course, people who just hate shoveling. Download the Eden app in the iTunes or Google Play Store today and enjoy 15% off your first job by using the promo code EdenTV.
Every time I come in, Chris always follows up with me, always asks me how my service was, if there's anything that they could have done better. He makes me feel really important.
You're not going to get treated better. The work done was awesome, but I thought that the personal touch and the service, Chris was always top-notch.
We've met new employees, and if I go back the next time, they know who we are. Whenever I take our cars in, I feel like I'm someone special. They treat me extremely well.